Welcome to the After Adderall program, the Walking Away from Adderall program. I'm Ricky, and I am going to be guiding you through this experience. If you are watching this right now, maybe you've already walked away from Adderall and you want to know how to navigate through the process, or maybe you're watching this and you're thinking about getting off Adderall or Vyvanse, but you're really fucking scared and you're not exactly sure the steps to take. I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know about successfully getting off this medication but also staying off of it and living a fulfilled and thriving life. I'm going to share my personal journey. I'm going to talk about all the things that I did. Obviously, like disclaimer just at the beginning, talk to your doctor, do what's best for you. I'm just going to share my personal experience and give you all the tips and tricks that really helped me navigate through this experience. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. We are different people, we have different bodies, and everyone has a different journey. But at the end of the day, we all have one thing in common. We were all put on this medication. I personally was put on Adderall and Vyvanse when I was 7 years old. I started taking Concerta and Ritalin, then Adderall and Vyvanse, and I was on the medication for almost 30 years. I know. And if you're watching this, maybe you're the person that was also put on it when you were a child. Or maybe you're in a position right now where you just got on it 5 years ago, but you don't feel like it's totally helping you. You can't be your full self on it, or maybe you feel a little bit addicted to the medication. I'm going to share my personal journey with you in this intro video before we get into all the different stuff. Because I know for me, when I was getting off the medication, the most comforting thing, besides all the information of healing my nervous system and dopamine in the brain, was just hearing somebody else's positive experience. When you go online and you look up the process of getting off Adderall, there's a lot of negativity around just you're not going to be able to focus. You're going to be in bed all day. It's going to be this terrible experience because you need it, right? You have to have it. And it's just not the truth. It's just not the truth. You are more than capable of living a beautiful and fulfilled life without being on medication. And please let me be living proof for you. So, I told you before that I was put on this medication when I was 7, and I lived my life on it. I mean, I genuinely, in my whole heart, believed that I could never live without the medication. I thought I couldn't drive without it. I thought I couldn't focus without it. I thought I couldn't sleep without it. I thought I couldn't do anything without it because when you're put on something very young or when you're put on something in general, you start to believe certain beliefs and identities about yourself. So for me, the identity that I took on was I'm very ADHD, the most ADHD. Like I always said, I was the most ADHD, and I had to be on medication to feel normal or to function normally in society. Now, I want you to take a moment and I want you to take out a pen or a paper or your phone. And I want you to write down just really quickly, and you don't have to do this now, but you can do it later. I want you to write down, why are you still on medication? It's a great question to ask yourself because every couple years I'd ask myself that question. I'd be like, okay, Ricky, why are you still on medication? And the answer would vary from year to year, depending on where I was at in my life and depending on where I was emotionally and mentally. And I remember the last time that I asked myself, like, why are you still on medication? It's been 28 years. Why are you still on this? And the answer was, what else am I going to do? And then the other answer was, I think I'm addicted to this medication. And when I got really, really honest and clear about like, why am I still on this medication? Like, do I really need it? I'm not even focusing really. I remember I was taking this medication and I would just sit in my apartment and I was so overstimulated all the time. And I was so numb. And I knew that it had served a purpose in my life, but it wasn't serving that purpose for me anymore. So for me, it was like, why am I still on this medication? And for you, the question is the same. Like, why are you still on this medication? Why? Are you scared to gain weight when you get off of it? So was I. Are you scared you won't be able to focus? Do you have this very high demanding job that you feel like you're going to mess up if you're not on the medication? Do you believe that you just can't like focus in the world? Your apartment will be messy, or you're just not going to be able to be this person who thrives when you're not on the medication. When you understand why you're still doing something, then you make sense of like, okay, here's why I'm doing something. And there could be positives too. Like for me, there were negative and positive. It was like, you're still on the medication because you're scared to gain weight. You're on it because you're scared you can't focus and you're addicted to it. And in certain ways, it helps you. So we have to look at like, okay, there are negatives and there are positives you're getting from being on the medication, right? Okay, that's okay. You can have both. Something can give you something great and also can be limiting, and knowing when to walk away is what this is all about. So understand like, why am I still on the medication? And what do I have to do to make peace with the fact that life without the medication is something that, yes, I might be very scared of, but at the end of the day, like, your options are you stay in the medication or you start to build a life off of it. And none of this has to happen right now. This is just me sharing from a different perspective. And I want you to go on this journey when you're 100% ready, because you have to be ready to go on this journey. So once I decided, and one of the reasons I decided to get off the medication, and trust me, if you would have asked me a year before I decided to get off the medication, I would have said, are you insane? Like, I need this. Like, that is how my mindset had shifted so much over the course of a year, just by the use of the medication, how addicted I felt to it, how it really wasn't helping me anymore. Like, I really wasn't gaining all these things from it anymore. So for me, it just felt like I was addicted, emotionally addicted and physically addicted, and mentally addicted, because that's what it does to you. So I remember there were just a lot of experiences that I had that made me like very, very much question my relationship with medication. I was started to get more of it. Like, I started to buy some of it outside of my doctor because the prescription that I was taking just like felt like it wasn't enough. And so I started seeking it elsewhere, right? I was taking Vyvanse and Adderall. Like, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty dangerous. And I was doing that. And so the way that I was using the medication had changed. It became this thing in my life where I was just like, I have to have it and I can't live without it. And so I spent a good like 6 months to a year kind of going back and forth with myself. Like, you're addicted, Ricky? No, you need it. You're addicted? No, 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 I'm ADHD. You're addicted? No, I have to run my business. Like, really, like fighting this resistance between I want to stay on the medication and you fucking can't. Like, you literally can't if you want to live a different life. And it took me 6 months to 8 months, I think, maybe a year, to really come to terms with the fact that I was very dependent and very addicted to something. And I was very, very scared to live without it. So that's the thing, is that the first thing that we're going to work on after I share a little more of my story is the fears that you have around walking away. I know that we touched on them a little bit, but we have to understand them so deeply because they will come up and they will try to tell you, like, no, we have to stay on the medication. And for me, the fear of being on the medication, the fear of being that disconnected to myself for any more longer of my life. Think about it, I was 33 years old at the time. And I also was very scared. I was like, okay, this is also very unhealthy. And what's going to happen if I continue to take this? Like, to my brain, to my body, to my heart. And so the fear of staying on it started to outweigh the fear of not being on it. And I started to remember, like, Ricky, you are strong. And I'm saying this to you too, like, you were not born in this lifetime to be on medication. You just didn't have an option. Somebody put you on it and told you this is who you were and said this is what you need to survive in the world and to function as a person. But I personally never made that decision. And maybe you're in a different boat. Maybe you made the decision to go on medication, and that's okay. The great thing about making the decision is that you can make a different decision. And so I just want you to know that when I got off the medication, I made the decision to get off the medication for my future self, not because I wasn't scared, not because because I knew what to expect. I didn't know what to expect. And we're going to go into what happened during my journey, like a very abbreviated version of like the experience that I had, to give you some insight and to maybe help you conquer some of those fears. Because yes, it was a challenging experience to get off, but at the end of the day, it was scarier for me to stay on the medication.